All right, everybody. Good afternoon. What is going on? We've got some more roster management stuff to talk about. So, 2 days ago, I made a video talking about candidates for the Seahawks to cut this offseason or release, whatever terminology you want to use, or trade to free up cap space. Yesterday, I did another video, and it looks like a lot fewer people have seen that video. I don't know if I posted it at the wrong time of the day, but if you haven't seen that video, go check it out. It's the restructuring video where I talked about the players the Seahawks could restructure in order to clear up cap space. And now this third video is going to be for extension candidates. These are veteran extension candidates, veteran players with veteran contracts who could be extended to free up cap space and give the player long-term security. All right, let's take a look. All right, guys, hold up because my friends at Sleeper are introducing some new features, and I want to tell you guys about them before we go any further. Sleeper is launching Team Picks, a new prediction market product. So now, on top of all the over-unders you can pick over on their Sleeper app, you can now pick on games. For instance, if you take a look to my left on the screen right now, you can see you can make a pick on the Super Bowl. They also have some bonuses available on over-unders for players. So there's now way more stuff you can get up to over on Sleeper. Get on over there before the Super Bowl, and don't forget to use the promo code SBN for a 100% match up to $100 on your first deposit. And don't forget to utilize the free $20 entry that you get just for making an account. So the Super Bowl is almost here. Make sure you get on Sleeper and have some fun with sports. All right, so this one is a little bit more complicated because when it comes to releasing players or restructuring players, it's pretty binary. You just do the math. You just use a calculator, and as long as you know how to do the calculation, you're good. This is more like you first have to figure out what an extension would look like, which is subjective, and then you have to determine what the cap hit is going to be compared to the old cap hit, which is also subjective. So let me just go ahead and lead with that. I'm going to go ahead and give you guys the information I have, and I'm going to estimate the best I can, but I don't know. I have no real idea what these extensions would actually look like in real life. I can only estimate based off evidence that we have from before. So we're going to do our best, but it's an inexact science. Okay, so we're talking about veterans here. These are players that are already on second or third contracts in the NFL that might want a fourth. And these three players, and it's only three players, I'm not including Sam Darnold. And I'm not including Sam Darnold because extending Sam Darnold would be more about making him happy because he just won the Super Bowl than it is clearing cap space. If we have to extend Sam Darnold, maybe we do it, maybe we don't, but that's not really a financial thing. That's more of a Sam Darnold feels like he needs to get paid commensurate to what he accomplished thing. So that's different. These three players are in the final years of their deal, and there is at least an argument to be made that the Seahawks want them for 2026. Now, in the NFL, players usually do not play on the final year of their contract when they're a good player. It happens occasionally, but the player doesn't like it because they have no security beyond the current season for, injury or fall off. They want long-term security, and the team doesn't like it because usually the last year of a contract has a massive cap hit. They want to add years to the end of the deal so they can push the cap hit down the road. So, Leonard Williams. Let's start with Leonard Williams because to me, this is the no-brainer. Leonard Williams, by the way, he already announced he's not retiring. He is going to come back for 2026. I think that we have to extend him. I don't think that bringing him back on a $30 million cap hit for 2026 is a good idea. and I don't think he would be willing to play out the final year of a contract when he's already kind of old. He wants the extension, and honestly, the team should probably want to extend him. I don't think there's a lot of risk here. Players like Leonard Williams usually are good until they're like 35, 36. So my proposal, Leonard Williams, currently sitting on about a $30 million cap hit. You extend him 2 years, $52 million. So that's $26 million per year. Not quite setting the market for interior defensive linemen, but it's near the top. Like Chris Jones got more than $30 million per year last year. This would be 26. I don't think Leonard Williams should set the market. I know that he is in a position of power. I know he's very good. I know he just won the Super Bowl, but he is on the wrong side of 30. He's got a lot of miles on him, and I feel like something a little bit short of market setting should be reasonable. Okay. This would mean that the new contract for Leonard Williams would be 3 years and call it 81.6 million. 81.6. Now, there's actually a little bit more because we do have void years on Leonard Williams' current contract, but those are going to be there no matter what, even if he's not on the team. So that doesn't matter. We're not thinking about that. That money's gone. It's fine. That has nothing to do with Leonard Williams being here or not being here. So Leonard Williams, 3 years, as far as we're concerned on this new deal, 81.6 million. So you divide that up and you come out to what? It's basically 27 million per, right? So he should be pretty happy with that. And now you can take his 2026 cap hit down because you can push the big cap hits out to 2027 and 2028. You could even add void years to the end of the new deal, which honestly will probably happen. But even if you don't do that, even if you decide to play things very cautiously with the Leonard Williams extension, you can easily get the 2026 cap hit to 20 million. You're saving 9.6 million against the cap, almost $10 million, and you're not even really doing anything crazy. You could get this cap hit down to 15 million if you really wanted to. If you really felt like you could use the extra money, you could turn this into a $15 million savings, but I'm going to play it slow. 9.6 million saved, and Leonard Williams gets to remain a Seahawk for a little while. And in 2 years, hopefully, in 2 years, after 2026, 2027, maybe then retirement thoughts creep in, and we can kind of have this conversation again. Okay, so that's number one. And that to me is the one that has to happen and the one that will happen. I can't imagine a world where we do not extend Leonard Williams. The next guy is Uchenna Nwosu, and this is kind of a compromise if he wants to stick around, because Nwosu's not a bad player. There's just too many problems for him to stick around at a $20 million cap hit to me. He has had a lot of injuries over the last couple years. I know he basically stayed healthy in 2025, but there was a price there, right? He had a very productive start to the season, but in the last 3 months of football, basically, he played very little production. The pick in the Super Bowl was a great exclamation point, but let's be clear here. Uchenna Nwosu had 1.5 sacks in the last 12 games he's played, including playoffs. So I don't think that's a guy that you want to be keeping on a $20 million cap hit. I can get production at Nwosu's level because Nwosu does do some things well. He does hold up pretty well against the run. He does eat up snaps, but his actual ability to produce and get to the quarterback seems limited at this point, and I don't think it's ever coming back because of the injuries. So I can get a player for probably $8 million that can do that, that has maybe more upside than Nwosu. And I also know I save 11.5 million if I let Nwosu go. Now, let's say we don't want to cut Nwosu, or Nwosu really doesn't want to get cut, but he also doesn't want to just give money back. without getting anything in return. What you could do is extend him, and then he agrees to an extension that is relatively cheap, and it gives the Seahawks the opportunity to push some of the money into future years, spread it out, and make it more palatable. Nwosu gets a little bit of long-term security, and by taking the extension, which I proposed 2 years, 20 million, so that's 10 million per year, you make the contract palatable because now you've got 3 years, 40 million. That's about 13 and a third million per. You can live with that, especially because it's going to be backloaded and you can probably get out of it after 2 years pretty easily, maybe even after 1 year. And you can get the 2026 cap hit down to 9 million. You're saving 11 million here. Now, this one's complicated. You would need Nwosu to be cool with taking an extension that is kind of probably beneath what he thinks he should get, but it's the main way you can make this work. Because again, he can do some stuff. He does have some value, but I can't bring him back for $20 million in 2026. The math doesn't add up there. The only reason why I would even consider it is because we have a lot of cap space. But I don't know if that's a good enough reason to bring back a $20 million edge rusher that is playing at I'd say above replacement level, but not by that much. All right, so that's the Nwosu thing. That one's complicated. That one's kind of weird. That's like a compromise between you and the team. We got one more guy. We only have 3 guys here that make sense in my books for this. The third guy is going to be Jason Myers. Normally, I would not be into making a kicker one of the highest paid kickers in the league. And in this case, we would probably be making him the highest paid kicker in the league and highest paid kicker in history. But he had such a good year, such a good Super Bowl. I don't think you have a choice. And it's not the worst thing in the world. He's proven himself to be an excellent kicker. And if you lock yourself into a long-term deal with Myers, it's not my favorite thing in the world, but it's not terrible either. And at the very least, you don't have to worry about the kicker position for a while. So he's got 1 year left on his deal, 7.25 million, call it. Let's say the extension is 3 years. I'm not going to go 4 because he's a little bit older. Let's say it's 3 years, 19.5 million. That would be the new record. That would break the Harrison Butker record of 6.4 with 6.5, which would make the new Jason Myers contract effectively 4 years, 26.75 million. So that is a little bit short of 7 million a year. Little bit uncomfortable in my book for a kicker. But again, I think you have to do it because he was so good in 2025. And again, I don't think it's the end of the world. You get that 2026 cap hit down to 4.5 million, which means you're saving 2.75 million. Pretty good. Pretty strong. I think you can feel okay about that. And down the line, there's probably going to be a year where you're paying Jason Myers $10 million in cap hit, and you're not going to like it then, but that's a problem for future you. And the cap goes up every year, so it probably won't even be that bad by the time you get there. You can do void years. And that's another thing that I don't even want to talk about in this video. You can add void years to pretty much any contract at any time. The player doesn't really care. It doesn't affect them. And it allows you to spread out cap hits. So if you need cap space, you can always just kind of tack on a void year. I think the league might eventually make it illegal, but for the moment, you can do it as much as you want, more or less. So that's always an option, but these are the normal options. So those are 3 extension candidates. I would definitely do Big Cat. I would probably do Jason Myers. I'm not big on the Nwosu idea, but it's not a terrible idea. Okay, let me know what you guys think. See you guys soon. Go Hawks. I'll have at least one more video later, but let me know what you think.